as these people started moving into the cities at that stage were not segregated. It was actually quite a anomaly worldwide to have cities that were not segregated in the early 20th century. And this meant that all of the black people that were moving in from their homelands, as well as the Boer farmers that were moving in there to find some jobs in the cities, were basically living informally amongst one another. And the people at that stage, especially the Afrikaners or the descendants of the Boer people, and even the Boer people who fought in the wars, came into the city, and it was something entirely new to them. They were used to living on a farm where everything was safe, where they had their own space, and now suddenly they are living like sardines amongst all these different races of people, or all these ethnicities, or all these peoples that they didn't know and that they never actually had much contact with. The first thing that was their grievance living in these unsegregated cities during the 1920s was crime. They specifically petitioned the then government of Jan Smuts and said, we need to do something about the crime problem in our areas. They came from the Boer republics, which had a virtually non-existent crime rate, into these unsegregated cities, and suddenly they were facing huge swaths of crime. And they started petitioning Jan Smuts and said, we need to do something about the crime problem in the cities that our people are living amongst. Obviously, Jan Smuts didn't really do much about it.
He mentions unsegregated cities. Why can Willem never see it from the other side? This is the problem with the apartheid revisionists. Black people were also displaced by the war. They were also living among people they did not know, even among different black tribes, because many of these people had not much interaction with the Boers, or Pedis with the Zulus, or Xhosas with the Tswanas, and so on and so on. They were also people who had lived in their own kingdoms, in their own villages, with low crime rates and order and peace, run by their chiefs and their kings, just like the Boers lived on their farms and in their communities in peace with low crime rates. Why does he only associate the low crime rate living with the Boers, as if the blacks didn't live like that in their own kingdoms? Perhaps he hasn't studied that part of it. He's good on the Afrikaner history, but he doesn't look at the broader South African history because he's revising here. He's not looking at the truth. When you live with your own people like that, history tells us, there's no hiding from it, brings more peace and a high trust society. Why then is Willem acting like the blacks did not suffer under the high crime rates of this diverse, urban sort of life after the war? He's not seeing it from the other side either. Is it perhaps that Willem sees the blacks as just the criminal perpetrators, as just crime-infested meat puppets who bring crime wherever they go? Because in their own kingdoms, in their own villages, they also lived under low, close to no crime whatsoever. But there's no such thing as no crime, whether it was on a Boer farm or community or a black kingdom or village, because human beings are evil, as Willem then states in another video, using Christian theology to justify that. On that we agree. So all people are capable of crime. And when they were thrown after the war into that diverse city slum, the black people were also suffering under living around people they did not know, they did not understand, they did not share culture and language, even though they were of the same color. And then there was this other group that was of a different color. Just saying that the Afrikaners were the only ones suffering crime for the first time at this high rate is just not true, and it reveals a certain blindness towards the other people. He sees the blacks as just crime-infested meat puppets, and he sees the Boers as human beings having to suffer this. This is apartheid revisionism, not Christian. Thank you for listening. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?